The massive amphitheater of the Galactic Council buzzed with activity. Hundreds of alien representatives from across the galaxy sat in tiered seating that circled the central speaking platform. Holographic displays flickered with urgent messages above each delegation. Captain Mina Park fidgeted in her seat, still not used to being humanity's junior representative after only 3 standard months on Centauri Prime. Order, the Council demands order. High Counselor Taiho banged his ceremonial staff against the floor. The elderly alien's skin shimmered with stress patterns as the chamber gradually quieted. We face an emergency situation in the Elysium system. Mina sat straighter, recognizing the name of a recently established colony world. Her background in wildlife conservation made her particularly interested in frontier planets. A raker pack has been spotted near the main settlement, Taiho continued, his voice grave. Gasps and murmurs spread through the chamber. Mina had studied the raker during her orientation. Massive 6-limbed predators with adaptive camouflage, they had terrorized the outer systems for centuries. 3 military expeditions had attempted to contain them in the past decade alone. All had failed with heavy casualties. The colony has begun evacuation procedures, Taiho said. But their ships cannot outpace the Rakor. We must decide on immediate action. The representatives shouted over one another, their voices creating a cacophony of alien languages as translation devices struggled to keep up. Send the battle fleet. Orbital bombardment is the only solution. Evacuate who we can and quarantine the system. Mina frowned. Every suggestion involved either abandoning the colonists or massive destruction. She had spent years working with Earth's most dangerous predators before joining the space program. The Raker were reportedly more lethal than anything on Earth, but certain principles of predator behavior seemed universal. She pressed her communication panel. I request permission to speak. Several nearby representatives turned to stare at her with varying expressions of surprise. Humans were still newcomers to the Council, admitted less than 5 years ago. They were rarely granted speaking time, especially during emergencies. High Counselor Taiho paused, his compound eyes focusing on her. The Council recognizes Captain Mina Park of Earth. Mina stood, her heart pounding. Thank you, High Counselor. Earth has extensive experience with predator management and conservation. Before we resort to extreme measures, I volunteer to assess the situation on Elysium. Silence fell across the chamber, followed by scattered laughter. Counselor Jiho, representative of the powerful Stellar Alliance, rose from his seat. The primitive species offers help? What could humans possibly know about creatures like the Rakor? Your planet barely achieved space travel a century ago. What will you do, throw sticks at them? More laughter followed his words. Mina kept her voice steady. With respect, Counselor, sometimes new perspectives offer solutions that established wisdom cannot see. Earth's wildlife management techniques evolved precisely because we lacked advanced technology for most of our history. We learned to understand predators, not just fight them. Understanding, Jiho scoffed. The Rakor are mindless killing machines. No predator is mindless, Mina countered. Every species hunts for reasons. Understand the reason, and you can predict the behavior. High Counselor Taiho raised a hand for silence. Your species' optimism is noted, Captain Park, but this is not some Earth tiger or bear. The Raker have destroyed armed battalions. I understand the risks, Mina replied. I request transport to the Elysium system with my colleague, Dr. Hyun. If we fail, the Council can proceed with more conventional solutions. The chamber erupted in debate again. Mina could see many representatives adamantly opposed to her plan, but others seemed curious. Humans had surprised the galactic community before with unconventional approaches. After several minutes of discussion, Taiho raised his staff again. The situation is desperate enough to warrant unconventional approaches. Captain Park, your request is granted. A transport will be prepared immediately. As Mina left the chamber to prepare, she passed Counselor Jiho, who leaned close to her. You've signed your death warrant, human, he whispered. The Raker will tear you apart before you can implement your primitive methods. Mina smiled politely. Perhaps. But I'd rather try understanding before extermination. She walked briskly to her quarters to pack, sending an urgent message to Dr. Hyun. They would need all their old Earth equipment, tracking gear, biological samplers, and non-lethal restraints. The Council expected them to fail, but Mina intended to prove that humanity's greatest strength wasn't technology, but the ability to connect with and understand other species. The transport ship shuddered as it entered Elysium 9's atmosphere. Mina Park gripped her seat, watching the dense forests grow larger through the viewport. Beside her, Dr. Hyun checked their equipment one last time. Just like old times in Yellowstone, he said with a nervous smile, except the bears didn't have 6 legs and adaptive camouflage. The pilot, a 4-armed alien named Bomi, called back to them. We'll land at the evacuation zone in 3 minutes. Military ships are leaving with civilians. You two are the only ones coming in. When they landed, chaos greeted them. Frightened colonists rushed toward waiting ships while armed guards formed a defensive perimeter. A tall insectoid commander approached as Mina and Hyun exited their transport. I am Commander Doyen, he said, mandibles clicking with clear irritation. You are the humans who claim they can handle the Raker? Mina nodded, extending a hand which the commander ignored. Captain Mina Park, this is Dr. Hyun. We're here to assess the situation and attempt non-violent intervention. Doyen's compound eyes reflected their images back at them. 3 of my soldiers died yesterday. The Raker pack has grown bolder. They attack our perimeter daily. We need to understand why, Mina said. Predators don't attack fortified positions. Without reason. Risk versus reward doesn't make sense. The commander watched as they unpacked basic tracking gear and biological samplers. You bring primitive equipment against creatures that have destroyed our battle cruisers? The Council sent you here to die. Hyun smiled. Sometimes simple is better. Technology scares animals. These tools let us observe without detection. Commander. Doyen assigned them 2 guards and a small shelter at the edge of the base. As night fell, they reviewed colony reports about the attacks. Mina noticed a pattern. The attacks increased 3 months ago, she told Hyun, right when the colony expanded mining operations to the eastern ridge. They spent the next day mapping attack locations. Every site showed unusual radiation readings. This radiation signature doesn't match natural patterns, Hyun said, studying his scanner. Something in the mining operation is producing it. A siren blared across the camp. Perimeter breach. Sector 8, shouted a voice over the communication system. Mina and Hyun rushed toward the commotion. Soldiers fired energy weapons at the tree line as colonists ran for shelter. Through the chaos, Mina spotted movement, a shimmer in the air that didn't match the surrounding forest. There, she pointed. Adaptive camouflage! A massive creature, nearly 3 meters tall, emerged from the trees. Its 6 powerful limbs moved with frightening speed as it charged the defensive line. Scales shifted color continuously, making it difficult to track. That's the Alpha, Commander Doyen shouted. We call it Death Shadow. Without thinking, Mina stepped forward, away from the defensive line. What are you doing? Hyun called after her. Mina! The creature, Storm, Mina, decided to name it not Death Shadow. Spotted her and changed direction. Soldiers aimed their weapons, but Mina raised her hand. Hold your fire, she ordered. Storm slowed, clearly confused by this single human standing alone. Mina remembered her training with Earth predators. No sudden movements. No direct eye contact. She slowly reached into her pocket and activated a small device that emitted low-frequency sounds similar to those they had recorded near the Rakor den. The massive predator tilted its head, 6 eyes focusing intently on her. Mina made a series of slow, deliberate movements with her hands, non-threatening gestures that communicated respect among Earth's predators. Storm lowered its massive head slightly. Then, to everyone's astonishment, it made similar movements. With its front limbs, it's mimicking you, Hyun whispered through her earpiece. A soldier panicked and fired. The energy blast hit the ground near Storm, who roared and retreated back into the forest with incredible speed. Commander Doyen rushed to Mina's side. Impossible, he said, his voice shaking. No species has ever survived direct contact with an alpha raker. Mina watched the forest where Storm had disappeared. It's intelligent, she said. Far more than anyone realized. And it's trying to communicate. That night, as they reviewed the recorded footage, Hyun pointed out something important. Look at the radiation spike when the Rakor appeared. It's the same signature we found at the mining sites. Mina nodded. We need to visit those mines tomorrow. The Rakor aren't attacking randomly. They're responding to something there. And if we're right, Hyun added, someone on the council might not want us to discover the truth. Morning light filtered through the dense forest canopy as Mina and Hyun prepared for their expedition. 3 council representatives had arrived overnight to observe their progress, skeptical but curious after hearing about Mina's encounter with Storm. The Rakor are intelligent and follow complex social protocols, Mina explained as she packed lightweight tracking equipment. Our scans show unusual radiation patterns at all attack sites, matching emissions from the mining operations. Counselor Sook, the youngest of the observers, leaned forward. You believe there's a connection? I do, Mina replied. And today we'll find out what it is. Commander Doyen blocked their path as they prepared to leave. This is suicide. At least take a full military escort. Mina shook her head. A large group will trigger their defensive instincts. We need to appear non-threatening. The commander reluctantly agreed but insisted on monitoring their progress via small tracking drones. Mina and Hyun ventured into the forest, following radiation signatures that grew stronger as they approached the eastern ridge. After 3 hours of careful hiking, they reached a clearing where machinery stood abandoned. Mining equipment, Hyun said, scanning the area. But this operation doesn't match any of the official colony permits. They discovered a hidden entrance carved into the hillside. Inside, advanced drilling equipment extracted glowing blue crystals from the rock walls. Quantum crystals, Mina whispered. Incredibly valuable on the black market. The mining process releases radiation that must be painful to the Rakor's sensitive sensory organs. A low growl echoed through the tunnel. They turned slowly to find Storm watching them from the entrance, its massive frame blocking their exit. Don't move, Mina whispered. It's studying us. Storm's scales shifted through patterns of blue and green as it tilted its head. Mina carefully activated her sound device, playing back recordings they had made of Rakor vocalizations. The massive predator's eyes widened. It responded with a complex series of rumbles and clicks. It's trying to communicate, Hyun said softly. Storm turned and made a beckoning motion with one limb. Mina looked at Hyun, who nodded nervously. They followed the creature deeper into the forest, maintaining a respectful distance. After 20 minutes, they arrived at a hidden valley. Storm led them to a cave entrance where several smaller Rakor gathered. Among them lay 2 injured juveniles, their scales flickering weakly. They're sick, Mina realized. The radiation is poisoning them. One juvenile Rakor cried out in pain, as its scales failed to maintain color. Storm nudged it gently with a massive claw, making soft, comforting sounds. They're not just predators, Hyun said. They're a family group. Mina slowly approached the injured juvenile, moving as she had during their first encounter. Storm watched her carefully, but didn't interfere. She removed a medical scanner from her pack and examined the young Rakor. Radiation poisoning, she confirmed. Their bodies can't process the toxins. She administered a basic detoxification compound through a gentle mist sprayer. The juvenile's breathing eased almost immediately. Storm observed this with evident intelligence, then touched Mina's arm with surprising gentleness before leading her to the second injured youngster. As Mina treated the second juvenile, Hyun documented everything on his recorder. The council representatives need to see this. The Rakor aren't attacking the colony, they're defending their young from an environmental threat. Above them, small drones captured everything. In the command center, Commander Doyen and the council representatives watched in stunned silence. Impossible, whispered one representative. They're supposed to be mindless killers. Counselor Sook leaned closer to the screen. Look how they care for their young. Look how they understand what the humans are doing. Before they could respond, an urgent message arrived from the Galactic Council. Commander Doyen read it and looked up grimly. The Council has voted. An extermination fleet has been dispatched to eliminate the Raker threat once and for all. Back, in the forest unaware of this development, Mina established basic communication with Storm through gestures and sounds. Using her scanner, she showed Storm images of the mining operation and the radiation it produced. Storm made a series of precise movements with its front limbs, pointing toward the eastern ridge, and then to its injured young. The message was unmistakable. The mining was killing its family. We need to stop those mines, Mina told Hyun, and somehow convince the Council that the Raker deserve protection, not extermination. Their communicators suddenly activated with Commander Doyun's voice. Return, immediately. The situation has escalated. News of Mina's breakthrough with the Raker spread across the colony within hours. Holographic displays in the command center showed footage of her treating the injured juveniles while Storm stood guard nearby. The evidence was clear. The Raker were highly intelligent beings capable of complex communication and family bonds. This changes everything, Counselor Suk said, watching the recordings for the third time. We must inform the full council immediately. Commander. Doyun paced nervously. The extermination fleet has already departed. They will arrive in less than 2 days. Mina and Hyun rushed into the room, still covered in forest debris from their expedition. We have proof that the Raker are being driven to attack because of illegal mining operations, Mina announced. The radiation is poisoning their young. She displayed the evidence they had gathered, samples of the quantum crystals, radiation readings, and recordings of their interactions with Storm. The Raker aren't mindless killers. They're protecting their territory and families from a genuine threat. A transmission light flashed on the command console. The main screen activated to show the Galactic Council chamber. High Counselor Taiho's face filled the display. Captain Park, he said, his voice cold, your interactions with the Raker have caused quite a stir. High Counselor, Mina replied. We've made an incredible discovery. The Raker possess intelligence far beyond what was previously believed. Enough. A new face appeared on the screen, Counselor June, representative of the Stellar Mining Consortium. These are baseless claims from an inexperienced species. The Raker have terrorized our outer systems for centuries. Mina stood her ground. With respect, Counselor, we have evidence that your consortium is running illegal mining operations on Elysium 9. The radiation from these operations is what's driving the Raker to attack. June's face darkened. Ridiculous accusations. The Council has already voted. The extermination fleet will cleanse Elysium 9 of this menace once and for all. You can't do this, Hyun protested. It would be genocide. They are animals, Doctor. June replied dismissively. Dangerous predators, nothing more. Counselor Suk stepped forward. I've seen the evidence firsthand. The Raker show all signs of sentient intelligence. We must reconsider our decision. The Council erupted into argument. Mina could see several members beginning to waver, but June and his allies held firm. After several minutes of heated debate, High Counselor Taiho raised his staff for silence. The vote stands, he announced reluctantly. The extermination fleet will proceed as planned. As the transmission ended, Mina turned to the others. We have less than 2 days to save an entire species. That night, as they frantically worked on a plan, Mina received an encrypted message from Counselor Suk. Not all of us agree with this decision. I've delayed the fleet by ordering additional weapon calibrations, but they will arrive in 3 days. You must provide irrefutable proof of Raker intelligence by then. How do we prove intelligence to people who refuse to see it? Hyun asked, his voice heavy with frustration. Mina stared out the window toward the forest where Storm and his family lived. We need to bring them to the Raker. Make them see firsthand what we've seen. The Council will never agree to that, Commander Doyun said. Then we'll bring the Raker to them, Mina replied, an idea forming. But first, we need more evidence about those mines. They spent the next day documenting everything about the illegal mining operation, its connection to the Stellar Consortium, the environmental damage, and the radiation effects on the Raker. When they returned to the colony, they found a small Council ship had arrived. High Counselor Taiho and key representatives are coming to witness the extermination personally, Commander Doyen informed them. They land tomorrow morning. Mina nodded grimly. Perfect. They'll have front row seats. To the truth. That night she ventured alone into the forest. She found Storm waiting at the edge of the trees as if expecting her. Through their developing system of communication, she explained what was coming and what they needed to do. The massive predator watched her intently, its intelligent eyes reflecting the moonlight as it considered her plan. Dawn broke over Elysium 9 as High Counselor Taiho's ship descended toward the landing zone. Mina stood alone in the cleared area, watching the sleek vessel touch down. Behind her, the forest remained still and silent. Commander Doyen and his soldiers formed a security perimeter, weapons ready. Hyun waited nearby with their evidence, nervously checking the data tablet one last time. The ship's ramp extended and High Counselor Taiho emerged, flanked by 5 representatives including Counselor Jun and Counselor Suk. Their faces showed a mix of curiosity and determination. Captain Park, Taiho greeted her formally. We have come to oversee the extinction of a dangerous species. The extermination fleet will arrive tomorrow. Before you make that final decision, Mina replied calmly, there's something you need to see. Counselor Jun stepped forward impatiently. We've seen your recordings, they prove nothing. Animals can mimic intelligence. Then see for yourself, Mina said. She turned toward the forest edge and made a series of specific hand gestures. For a moment, nothing happened. The council members exchanged skeptical glances. Then the forest stirred. Storm emerged first, his massive form instantly recognizable. The council members gasped as 6 more Raker appeared behind him. They moved in perfect formation, not an attack pattern, but an organized group. They'll kill us all, Jun cried, reaching for his weapon. Mina raised her hand. They won't attack, unless threatened. Watch. Storm approached slowly, stopping 10 meters from the council delegation. The massive predator lowered its head in what was unmistakably a greeting. Then it made a series of precise movements with its front limbs, the communication system Mina had established. What is it doing? Taiho asked, his voice barely above, a whisper. Communicating, Mina answered, asking why you want to destroy his family. Counselor Suk stepped forward cautiously. They truly understand? More than understand, Hyun said, joining them with the data tablet. We have proof that the Raykor have been defending themselves against illegal mining operations run by the Stellar Consortium. Operations that Counselor Jun authorized. He displayed the evidence they had gathered, permits signed by Jun, radiation, readings and footage of the mining facility. The radiation from these mines is poisoning the Raker young, Mina explained. They attacked only after their children began dying. Jun's face flushed dark purple. This is absurd. They are animals. Commander, I order you to eliminate these creatures immediately. Commander Doyen hesitated, looking between Jun and the dignified Raker standing before them. High Counselor Taiho raised his hand. No, I must see this evidence fully before any action is taken. Storm surprised everyone by approaching closer. The council members tensed, but the massive predator simply lowered his head to Taiho's eye level. Their gazes met, ancient alien, leader and apex predator, in silent communication that needed no translation. After a long moment, Taiho nodded. I understand now. He turned to face the other representatives. The extermination order is rescinded. The Raykor are not mindless beasts. They are intelligent beings defending their home. You can't do that, Jun sputtered. The council has voted, and the council can vote again, Taiho replied firmly, based on new evidence. He gestured toward Storm, evidence standing right before us. Counselor Suk stepped forward with her communication device. I've already sent orders to the fleet to stand down. In the days that followed, the council formally recognized the Raykor as a sentient species, granting them protected status. The illegal mining operations were shut down, and Counselor Jun faced serious charges for his role in the cover-up. The Galactic Council established the first human-led xenobiological diplomacy corps, with Mina as its director. Their mission? To find peaceful solutions to conflicts between species across the galaxy. 1 month later, Mina sat on a hillside overlooking Elysium 9's main valley. Storm settled beside her, his massive form somehow no longer frightening but comforting. "We have much to learn from each other," she said softly. The great predator made a rumbling sound that might have been agreement as they watched the twin suns set together, human and Raker, proof that understanding could bridge even the widest gulfs between species.